how are you, handsome? I haven't talked to you in so long. And I was like,
As if
you
he
know,
don't remember. Yeah, he don't remember how it is.
you know why you haven't talked to me in 4 years?
Yeah,
Is because
that was purposeful. Let me fix it. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. To week 6 of The Artist Way. Delon, how are you feeling? Did you do your pages? What was your artist date? Tell me all the things.
So I did do my pages, except for one day. I lied. I did take one day off, and that was okay. The pages are really still giving me life. I'm really
Yeah.
there. It's great to have a friend where I can lay a lot of that what's in my head and my heart. And it's routine. It's starting my day with them allows me to launch into everything else that I need to get done in my day. My artist date, actually, I kind of vacillated between two of them because I went to a concert and I was like, oh, that was an artist date. And after we recorded, I went to a production of Les Miserables.
Yes.
Which is a musical Broadway musical that's touring. I saw this musical when I was a junior in high school, but I didn't really remember it. I started listening to the book. It is epic. It was so fucking good. These people are, I know sometimes people poo-poo musical theater, but the skill that it takes to do what we do, like the talent, the singing,
and that is like
immense.
A really heavy show. Like the songs are big, but it's like really dramatic. Like there's a lot of emotions and like tons of dialogue. Like that's a huge undertaking.
And for a Monday night, I was like, there won't be anybody here. That theater was packed. People love Les Mis. Yeah. You see this? You see there's a window reflecting. You see this light coming on me?
You look amazing.
This is a universe being like, oh, it's telling me God is trying to tell you something. Anyway, how about you? How about your pages? How was your artist date?
I did great on my pages. I think I'm going to say I did like 5 out of all 7 days. My artist date was I went to the Rose Bowl flea market, which I have not been in a minute. It's so fun. You can't see the whole thing in an hour. It opens at like 5 a.m. and it's been really hot here in LA. So I went early trying to beat the heat. And I really only looked at like furniture. I looked at some clothes. I bought a shirt that has Grace Jones on it, which is like kind of cool. It was great. I had a lot of fun. I'm so used to going with other people that it was really nice to just go by myself and explore. And then this week, I've had my challenges, like at work specifically. I've been feeling just like really overwhelmed, but I have felt like the pages have really unlocked my writing in an amazing way.
Wow.
I wrote so much new material this week. I do my geriatric mic and I have my writing group. And I wrote on stage and I have like a new process where I have like an idea for something. I go on stage, I just like talk it through. I see what's resonating, what's funny. I record it. Then I check the transcript on the recording and I go back and I find all the places that people laughed. And then I write that down and then I like color code where the laughs are. And then I like write a bunch of things like, why did I think that was funny? And like, how else can I expand upon that? Baby,
you're such an engineer. You love dissecting and coming up with a process, right? And figuring out what's working. It's so smart.
I do. And it's really, really nice. I felt really, really good about that. I am curious how you felt about this week's subject of a sense of abundance and how we feel about money and how we feel about the opportunities that we are deserving of. And we kind of touched on it a little bit last week. That was my bad. I got ahead of us because I have been doing the reading ahead of us filming and class. We are on a different schedule than you guys are. So that's how I kind of got a little ahead of us. But what did you think about this week's subject? And was there anything in the pages that really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I appreciated what I have been talking about money a lot lately, right? Just in my life and the balance of working so many jobs for not enough money and feeling like I'm overextending myself and something needing to give there. So it really did speak to me in that sense. But I also think like there was a list of like money makes me feel the
Mm-hmm.
truths that you think about money, right? That you
Mm-hmm.
that I really appreciated, because some of them I didn't know how to answer right away, and I really
Yeah,
had to take
same.
a second to think about it, and and not only think about it, but go really dissect it and go, is that true? I don't know if that's actually true. I think that's a
Yeah.
trope that earning, I can't think what you're pulling them up. I don't know what they are,
Yeah.
but
If
a
I had
couple.
money, if I could afford it, I would. I'm afraid that if I had money, I would. Money causes, in order to have more money, I would need to.
People with money,
People
something
think
similar.
money, being broke tells me. Yeah. I mean, these were difficult.
Yeah, and I also, again, I had to sit there and go, now, is that something that I really believe, or is it
Mm-hmm.
something that society's kind of reflected back to me? The
Mm-hmm.
biggest takeaway that I had is, I've talked about this on the pod before. I grew up a poor and on government assistance in a white middle class place, a gay black, that's my narrative, a gay black poor kid, right? Um, and there's a lot of shame in being poor in this country, and being
Yeah.
poor, period, and that has really translated into a lot of shame of me, of
Mm-hmm.
self. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing this week in my pages, I was really starting to divorce that and go, no, 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 I am not poor, I
Mm-hmm.
am not bad. It's just a circumstance,
Yes.
a situation, a
Mm-hmm.
context in which I grew up. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first time I've actually been able to analyze that, which is really helpful.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you?
That's so interesting. Yeah, I had an opposite experience because I grew up very middle class, but in hindsight, I realized that my parents really went out of their way to give me a life that felt very abundant, even though there were
Mm,
times where, maybe money was tight and my parents were fighting about money because my parents were divorced, and that was a whole thing between my parents about child support and me being able to do certain things, but I didn't know that at the time. And so in some ways I think I have a not great relationship with money, only because I, like, when I was reading about like luxury, for example, talking about like treating
mm.
yourself, I'm like, oh yeah, I treat myself all the time.
All the time. All the
but like
time.
but to a fault, right? Like, Delon, I don't
Yeah.
remember if I have told you about this, but it was like the year I was on Nightly Show, or maybe it was, yeah, no, I had just done Nightly Show and we were in Costa Rica. I used to go to Costa Rica with Shamika and our group of friends every New Year's. And we were at this beautiful mansion, drinking, drinks by the pool, blah, blah, blah. And who calls me? My accountant. And my accountant says, "What are you doing right now?" And I was like, "Hey, PJ, I'm by the pool having a great time." He was like, "We need to have a meeting when you get back to New York, because you are spending more than you are making." He's like, "You made more this year than you've ever made since you've been my client, and you spent all of it." And I was like,
Wow.
"What?" I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, literally while I'm at a mansion in Costa
Wow.
Rica, because I was just like, I have a TV job. I had a stylist. I had a makeup
You
artist.
really
I had a
did.
personal trainer. Like, I was just like, and not thinking about saving and not thinking
Yeah.
about like what happens when the show gets canceled, which it did, right?
Mm.
Like, that, I just was not thinking in that way. And love my parents. My dad is an accountant. My dad never talked to me about money. He never said, and in some ways, I felt like he kind of complicated my relationship with money because he would just like give me his credit card and let me go on a shopping spree. But then when I would say
Mm.
like, "Hey, I'm really struggling with my student loan payments," he'd be like, "That's all you." And I'm like, "Okay, but like, my car got repossessed after college because I didn't have money." And I
Yeah.
remember like it being them calling me and screaming at me, and me calling my dad and being like, "Hey, you helped me sign for this car." And he was just kind of like, "You're an adult now." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
but you could help me, but you won't." It was like this tough love thing where he had no problem giving me money to spend on clothes. But when I, was going to school and they were threatening that I wasn't going to be able to go to class because, I needed somebody to sign my FAFSA papers. And I'm
Yeah.
calling my dad being like, can you please sign this so I can go back to class?" And he was just kind of like, So I now operate from this place of, I'm not necessarily counting every penny, but I do the girl math where I'm like, well, I booked that thing and I did, I had a viral video on Facebook and I can afford it here,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I get the statement. I'm like, oh, fuck. Maybe I shouldn't have spent like that.
One of the things that I really do appreciate about this, the tasks she gave us, she's
Mm-hmm.
like, write down everything that you're spending money on, and she really does couch it in the abundance, the
Yes.
luxury kind of, saying like, you might think you can't afford such and such, but write down
Mm-hmm.
what you're spending so that you can.
Yes.
It's a really like reverse engineered way of going like, girl, you might need to budget, right?
Yes.
I'm starting to do it, and I'm realizing there's some things I spend more money than I probably should, as we all
Yes.
do.
Yes.
But I have never done that in a concerted way. And so I'm hoping that she asked us to do it for a month. So I'm really going to try
Yeah.
to stick to it and see what happens.
Yeah.
So then I can budget. Because listen, I do have debts. The Trump administration, your loans are forgiven. Thank God. I'm so happy for
Mm-hmm.
you. But a lot of us, who went to grad school, went to undergrad, still have loans. I still have
Yeah.
6 figures in student loans that I need to pay down.
Yeah.
And that SAVE program that Joe Biden enlisted us all in is not going to be extended anymore. So now I'm like, I'm really going to be struggling with that, as a lot of us are. And I need to budget. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that prospect. I know it's going to probably be a reality check
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I too am like, I just got off the phone with another friend. I was like, oh wait, your 40th is this year? Oh God, where are we going? I was like, I guess I can figure that out, but like,
Yeah.
can you figure it out?
Yes.
Because again, I
Yes.
have 17 jobs.
Well, one of the things that I highlighted, because again, luxury, I'm not somebody who likes a designer bag or designer fashions. I like experiences.
I
So
want a vacation.
I want a vacation. I get a massage every week and I make no apology about it. But this made me feel really good about the fact that I've prioritized this because I do think it is important to the creative process. It says, because art is born in expansion, in a belief of sufficient supply, it is critical that we pamper ourselves for the sense of abundance it brings us. And I really like that she talked about abundance doesn't have to be spending a ton of money on things. It could
Mm-hmm.
be as simple as getting some fresh raspberries from, the farmer's
Yeah.
market, or one person bought herself a little watercolor paint set. And so it could be something very small. Meditating is a way to kind of treat yourself in a luxurious way. I love to sit in the hot tub at my apartment building. I also love to lay by the pool and like take a nap and just get some sun. Like luxuriating and really replenishing yourself is seen as selfish or self-indulgent, but it's really important to the creative process.
I agree. I wrote something down very similar, or I highlighted something very similar, where she talks about just creating space and time for yourself. Creative
Mm.
living requires the luxury of space for ourselves, even if all we manage to carve out is one special bookshelf, a windowsill that is
Mm.
ours. My study has a window shelf of paperweights and seashells, and that brings me to another question, which
Yeah.
is a task that she gave us. She was like, "Hey, go out into the world and find 5 special rocks. Go out into
Mm-hmm.
the world and find 5 flowers or leaves that you want to press." And that is a little woo woo. That's a little like, blah, blah, blah. And so I took a long walk. I took like a
Mm.
2 hour walk 2 days ago. And there's a beach by my apartment that I've discovered that's really great, about a mile away. And I was like, you know what? Let me find this bitch doesn't find some, let me find some rocks. And I have my little rocks right here.
Oh,
I
wow.
have my little rocks, and I don't know what this is, but
Ooh, it's
like
like
it
a
was
obsidian.
right. I was like, this was just like cool little rocks, and what I
Yeah.
discovered is it's less about the actual rock, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that sounds stupid, but it's
It's
more
about
about the
looking.
process. Yeah,
Yes.
it's about taking the time, and I don't have this weird thing where I'm like, everyone's looking at me, just staring at the sand. So what? It's your
Yeah.
time. It was
Yeah.
really, really nice. And I'm actually I haven't done the leave one, but I'm gonna let
Mm-hmm.
that bleed over into the next week. And then when I take a long walk, I'm gonna do the
It's
leaves.
so funny because the leaf thing already comes very naturally to me. That's one of the things I love about California is we have
Mm,
such cool desert fauna, like so many weird flowers and like succulents and just things that I just had never seen growing up in Florida, where we don't really have seasons. And here we do have like desert. So it's, again, things that I just had never seen before. Lots of really cool, colorful leaves and like weird flowers and stuff. So I really did enjoy that. And I love
Mm.
that I love that it resonated with you and that you got out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And this idea of like taking up space. Like, you only have one life. You can't worry about what other people are thinking about you.
Girl, you sound like me. You only have one life. Talking about the back 40. Okay. Yeah.
Did
So
you have
class
any
left.
surprising things, any positive
Oh,
revelations, or any
wait. I wrote some down. I sure did.
we also talked about there's no such thing as coincidences. Did anything happen this week that you had a moment of like, oh, that's the artist way, it's working?
Oh my God. Two things I'll say. I was driving to a show that I'm doing right now, and there's band Lake Street Dive. Do you know what they
Yeah,
are?
you love them. Yeah.
I love them. They have this album, obviously, that I was like listening to, and I like started tearing up, not because of the music, but because I was like listening to the lyrics, and I was like, man, I just want to write a song that like has this kind of meaning to it. It's so smart. It has such a, and I was like, there's a song inside of me. There's a song. I've written plenty of songs. I just haven't shared them yet, but I'm like, that was really inspiring. I was like, that's the artist way. Thing I kind of texted you about.
Yes.
The artist way, she talked about a couple of weeks ago, hey, what will probably happen during this process is the earth's going to shake, the sand's going to shift, and some of them crabs from your past is going to come up out the woodwork. And I did have someone who was 20, who I dated for a bit, who popped up in and was like, hey, how are you, handsome? I haven't talked to you in so long. And I was like,
as if he don't remember how it is.
You know why you haven't talked to me in 4 years?
Yeah,
is because
that was purposeful.
So I was like, that's also the artist way, being
nerve.
Like, the moment you are making headway is when the gale or the wind is going to try to come get you. So how about you?
Oh my God. Well,
any synchronicities?
I told you about this, that I had my first 6-month consulting client, and on the abundance tip, right? Like I got this 6-month client, which I'm very excited about. And wouldn't you know it, signed that contract, and they said, we're sending the wire right now. I said, what? I said it.
Here?
Today? Okay. And I was like,
well, let me get to work.
I said, let me treat myself. You know what? No, but it was like such a nice surprise.
Yeah.
And I posted about it on Threads, and I got this really sweet message that said, I remember at the end of last year when you were really sad about your show dying and making this pivot to social media. And it's just been so inspiring seeing you take on
that dog. Is that dog okay?
Yes, he's fine. I told you he has a collapsed trachea.
No, you didn't?
Yes,
that's what it is, friend.
Yeah, and he has he has medicine that
I thought I know you told me about the kidneys, but I didn't know about the collapsed trachea.
So he has this medicine that helps relax his muscles. So I know it sounds bad, but he coughs way less. He coughs like once a day now. And again, like it's just, he's totally fine. I think it's because of, he's part pug. It's just like
everything's condensed.
It's just everything is squished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
anyways,
continue.
All of that to say that it was really cool because I did have to have this moment of, and then I got another consulting client this week or last week. I had like 3 consulting clients on top of my creative director job.
Well, girl.
So I have this other one who came through a friend, an online friend. We're not super close, but she had given me some advice last year about transitioning into consulting because she's done that a lot. And when I went to look on the calendar, I was like, when did we have that call? It was almost a year exactly that she and I met in person, known each other online for years, went to her office, and I ended up spending like 3 hours in her office.
Wow.
And she was just like pouring into me and encouraging me. And I was crying, and I was just like, this fucking industry, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like a failure, blah, blah, blah. And she was really laying out step by step, here's what you're going to do. You have so much to offer. You can do this consulting thing. And I was really kind of like, and now here I am a year later, and she is sending me business. And other things are coming to me, and I redid my website, and I'm working at this agency, and it was a really nice thing of the abundance, right? Where like before these things came into play, I was really like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like feeling a little embarrassed about my TV career. And I think I told you about this, Delon, that I got a Google alert. This troll made a video that was like, what happened to Francesca Ramsey? Here's the story of how she's a loser. And
Oh
he
my
was pulling up
God.
my IMDb, and he was like, she hasn't worked in this long. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. But also I was like, he's right. And I was feeling
God.
really down, and I like lost my my Writers Guild insurance, and I just was like, oh my God, what's going on? But that's why we're doing the artist way. Is I was like, I know I have all of these creative gifts, and I want to really open myself up to like receiving whatever it is I'm supposed to do, and like being able to use my gifts in a way that help other people but also help and nourish myself. And so it was just a really nice, like, okay, this is working. This is working. And it just makes me excited to finish.
I would offer up too that like it's one of those moments where life requires realignment. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about this. Coming to Boston was just a little bit of a realignment. And listen, I will talk a lot about how Boston is very planned, and socially, I need more friends, more queer friends, and all this kind of stuff. Boston is very good to me because it is
Mm-hmm.
solid.
Mm-hmm.
It has realigned my life to go, hey, this is what's next. Here's what you need. Let's slow down, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and so the artist's way, I think, is also contextualizing that and going,
Yeah.
okay, great. You had a moment where the effort you were putting out was not yielding, and you
Mm-hmm.
tried and tried and tried. You're still trying, girl. You're still writing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But there were other things that you wanted to do. Stand up, right? You were like on the precipice of being like, I'm gonna go whole hog with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now this consulting thing, and that is
Yeah.
really starting to realign life for you, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, class, tell us in the comments, how did you do when it came to your pages? What was your artist date? What were your roses and thorns this week? We can't wait to hear from you. Congratulations. You did it. Week 6.
We're halfway through it.
I know. Oh my gosh. Wow. We really are. Okay. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.